Jin Quan, the princess of the Jin family, mistakenly believed that I was a poor college student who could barely afford to eat. Every month, she would transfer money to my bank card on time and supported me for 4 entire years. But on the day I graduated from college, Shen Qingyu broke up with me. After the breakup, he disappeared without a trace. Before I could even process what had happened, his phone number had been disconnected and all of his social media accounts had been deleted. 3 days later, his lawyer found me and handed me a gift deed. It stated that Shen Qingyu was voluntarily giving me his villa, a military vehicle, and 18 million in savings. It was his way of thanking me for the 4 years we had spent together. That was when I finally realized he had always thought I was poor. But the truth was, I never lacked money. When Shen Qingyu and I were together, I had told him several times that my family was actually quite wealthy, but he had confidently dismissed me every time. Even if you have money, I still have more money than you. I never bothered arguing with him. After all, I loved him, but everything had been going perfectly. So why had he suddenly broken up with me? Just yesterday, we had still been deeply in love. How could his feelings have changed overnight? I forced myself to calm down and used my family's connections to investigate. It didn't take long before I discovered the truth. Shen Qingyu was getting married today. He was going to marry Pei Junheng, the young master of the Pei family. I immediately drove to the wedding venue. As soon as I entered, I saw Shen Qingyu standing on the stage. He was dressed in an expensive formal suit. He looked handsome and elegant, but his brows were tightly knitted. I could tell that Shen Qingyu wasn't happy. Could it be that he was being forced to marry Pei Junheng? Just then, someone in the crowd suddenly shouted, "Kiss him!" I immediately saw Pei Junheng reaching out to pull Shen Qingyu toward him, but Shen Qingyu instinctively stepped backward and avoided his touch. Pei Junheng's expression immediately darkened. "Shen Qingyu, have you already forgotten your promise to me?" Shen Qingyu's face instantly turned pale, yet he still forced himself to take a step forward. I immediately understood. This man must have threatened him. When Shen Qingyu saw me, a flash of happiness appeared in his eyes, but it disappeared almost instantly. Pei Junheng, who was standing beside him, glared at me. "Little brat, you seem awfully familiar with my future wife." My heart sank. I could clearly feel the contempt in everyone's eyes as they looked at me. But I wasn't some pathetic beggar. I had met Shen Qingyu during a college club activity. At that time, I was so hungry that I couldn't help secretly eating some of my roommate's snacks. I whispered, "Let me have a little." It was nothing more than a joke between roommates, so I hadn't taken it seriously. Unfortunately, Shen Qingyu happened to witness the scene. He thought I was being bullied, so he immediately stood up for me. "You shouldn't take other people's things without permission." From that moment on, I fell in love with Shen Qingyu at first sight. I started following him around every day. Not long afterward, we got together, and our relationship became known throughout the entire university. People said that Shen Qingyu was keeping some poor, pretty boy. I was afraid that it would embarrass him, so I took the initiative to tell him. Actually, my family is quite wealthy, but Shen Qingyu didn't care. We stayed together for 4 entire years. Although our relationship wasn't filled with dramatic ups and downs, we loved each other deeply. That's why I couldn't accept his sudden decision to leave me. I needed to know what kind of problem he was facing. I looked at him and asked, "Did you break up with me just so you could marry this man?" Shen Qingyu immediately walked toward me. Then, without warning, he slapped me hard across the face. "I already told you to leave. Can't you understand?" I could have dodged the slap, but I didn't. Shen Qingyu was wearing high heels, and I was afraid that if he used too much force, he might lose his balance and fall. I couldn't help laughing at myself. Shen Qingyu was already about to marry someone else, yet I was still worried about him. Was I being too foolish? I stared at him. "How could you leave without saying anything? You didn't even give me an explanation. That's unfair." Shen Qingyu replied coldly, "I already gave you a house and a car. What more fairness do you want?" Then he said, "Lu Xingchen, our relationship is over. Back then, I only dated you because I thought you were handsome and poor enough to control. In a family like mine, love and marriage have to be completely separated. My husband can only be Pei Jinghao. Thank you for accompanying me for these 4 years. You've already gotten the answer you wanted, so leave." My heart sank. So the deep love I had believed in was nothing more than my own wishful thinking. I had thought he must have been facing some kind of difficulty, and that I could help him. But Shen Qingyu had made it clear. Eventually, He had to marry someone else. I slowly nodded. Fine, let it be this way. I wish you happiness. I was about to leave when he stopped me. Since you've already come, stay and watch the ceremony. Otherwise, you'll embarrass my family and the entire city of Haicheng. I couldn't help laughing. Was Pei Junheng really this arrogant? I'd heard plenty of arrogant people like him before, but after teaching several of those so-called powerful families a lesson, nobody had dared to speak to me like that again. Yet Pei Junheng didn't notice the contempt in my eyes. Instead, he proudly clapped his hands. Immediately, several men dressed in black suits walked out from both sides. Lu Xingchen, right? Are you going to sit down yourself? Or should I have someone force you into a chair? Lu Xingchen, get out. I don't want to see you again. Then Pei Junheng looked at Shen Qingyu. Shen Qingyu, did I give you permission to speak? Do you really think I'm stupid? Can't you see that you're protecting this brat? I understood Shen Qingyu's words perfectly. Today was supposed to be our engagement ceremony. He simply didn't want to have any connection with someone from his past anymore. He didn't want rumors spreading later and damaging his reputation. Jinghao, I'm doing this for your sake. Then he pointed at me. Take him off the stage. 4 men in black immediately surrounded me and dragged me to a corner. Since they wanted to cause trouble, I wasn't going to be polite either. Just then, a group of arrogant young men walked toward me. As expected, they were Pei Junheng's friends and followers. Brat, can't you just live your life properly? Why did you come here just to humiliate yourself? Do you really think Shen Qingyu will protect you? Let me tell you something. Even if you hadn't come today, Jinghao still wouldn't let you go. How could he possibly allow a man who slept with his future wife for 4 years to stay alive? The group surrounded me and mocked me without restraint. I lowered my head and played with my phone. I couldn't be bothered to argue with these insignificant people. The engagement ceremony soon ended. The guests began eating, drinking, and networking with one another. I took the opportunity to investigate the Pei family's background. The Pei family was indeed the richest family in Haicheng. However, they didn't have a particularly deep foundation. They were basically nouveau riche. The reason the Pei family had risen so quickly was because of their connections in the capital. They had secured several major projects in Haicheng, allowing them to rise rapidly. Even so, the Pei family had never truly entered Haicheng's circle of established elite families. They could only rely on marriage alliances with old families, like the Shen family, to achieve what they wanted. The Pei family wanted the marriage as their ticket into the elite circle. The Shen family, meanwhile, wanted the Pei family's wealth to rebuild its financial strength. Just then, a young woman who looked somewhat similar to Shen Qingyu walked over and sat beside me. My name is Shen Qingwu. I'm your ex-girlfriend's younger sister. From now on, don't say anything. Just come with me. I looked at her. Did your sister send you to help me? Stop talking nonsense. Come with me quickly. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave this place today. She pulled me away. But before we could get far, several men in black suits surrounded us. We had nowhere to go. When Shen Qingwu saw them, she immediately said, Lu Xingchen, you shouldn't have come here. If you hadn't suddenly appeared, my sister wouldn't have been forced to marry that short fat guy Pei Weihao. A strange feeling suddenly rose in my heart, but before I could ask anything, a sudden commotion erupted from inside the banquet hall.